The year 2024. In a time of horror, madness and super science, one man stands against the forces of darkness. Live from the Crab Nebula, it's the Filth Chamber with your host Patrick Russ.
For many, ghosts and hauntings are merely frightening tales told around a campfire. For others, they can be a terrifying reality. Do restless spirits wander our world and search for retribution from beyond the grave? Well, the sins of a man's past might not always stay buried. What the fuck am I talking about? Where am I? Be there. Take care. If you're curious about this, if you're curious about my eyebrow, all I have to say is, you should see that old lady. You should see how she looks. Oh yeah, it ain't pretty, okay? Yeah. I come out on top in a street fight, because I fight dirty. So, yeah, watch out, old ladies. Getting all uppity with me. In these restless times, you need someone like your Uncle Baby Boy to reassure you that everything will be okay. Well, it's not gonna be okay. So we might as well enjoy it while we can, huh? It's all falling apart. It's all falling apart. And so am I. I'm falling apart physically and mentally. And there's few things in this world that can prevent that or slow that. So one of those things is recording this show and talking to you guys. And it has been a while. Shit. God damn it. Pardon my French. If you've been wondering where I've been, don't. Because it's none of your goddamn business. You know where I've been? At your mama's house. America is in chaos. The streets are on fire. By which I mean Willem Dafoe and his gangs are out there in very sexual leather outfits on their motorbikes fighting Michael Paré with hammers to a very stylish score by Ry Cooder. Can I go further with this? No. Okay, moving on. I'm here again in the Filth Chamber to talk to you because I care. I care, god damn it. Someone has to. And that someone is me. Yes, welcome back, everybody. I love you. No, really. I've been gone a while. I'm not going to tell you why, but let's just say I was delayed. Regardless, I'm back now, and here we are. If you're curious to the whereabouts of Schuller Benson, all I can tell you is, per his last communique, he said some things about you guys that I really, I just don't want to reveal the horrific things he said about you, calling you guys pig fucks, and how much he hates you, and how he hates death metal and thinks it's for wimps and posers, and how he's really hardcore into like techno now and shit. Yeah, it's very embarrassing. It's an embarrassing situation. Schuller Benson should be taken to task, but that's not my place. It's not my place to judge someone like him. It is really upon you, the public. If Schuller Benson should be trusted, frankly. A man who refers to you guys as pig fucks and says he hates metal and he hates freedom, frankly, but that's a whole other thing. I'm not going to get into it because I promised I wouldn't mention it on the show. So I'm not going to talk about what he said and that he called you pig fucks and said he hates America. I'm not going to mention any of that because I told him I wouldn't say that. So I'm just going to talk about metal and say hi to my pal Schuller. What have I been listening to lately? Roxi Drive. I know you're here. to find out what poppy, synthy, wimpy crap I'm into, because I know that's why you love a show called, you know, The Filth Chamber or Mega Trends and Brutality. Well, I've been listening to Roxi Drive, who is a very lovely lady from the UK who makes very 80s synth pop, and it's fucking fantastic stuff. She sometimes does covers. Those aren't as good as her originals. And let me tell you something, Roxy, I'm a big fan. If you're out there, don't mess with my heart. Don't mess with my heart, Roxy. Okay, keep pumping out those awesome 80s beats with the heavy synth. And you got a big fan here, okay? Never find another. That's a fucking crusher. It's a Debbie Gibson-esque crusher, okay? And you know that's what I love. I know that's what you're here for. Because I listen to a lot of 80s synthy shit. I actually love that stuff. But speaking of the 80s shit like Roxy, I've also been listening to my man TUFF, Jeff Ritchie, who is just a warrior of the 80s night. This is a man who lives on streets that are just wet all the time with fog and a saxophone playing all the time, 24/7, and he's also in one of those weird sleek cars and there's street lights, you know, and shit. It's very, the man lives it, and it's in the music. And I ordered some TUFF, which, by the way, TUFF is a fucking excellent 80s movie, which was one of James Spader and Robert Downey Jr.'s first movies, and so fucking 80s. It's really, it's a good one, and he picked a perfect name for his band. But every song is like an 80s anthem that sounds like it would be playing at the end of an 80s movie. So it's great shit. And I ordered one of his albums, and he just went ahead and sent me all of them. Like, he just sent me all these little digipacks. It's like, well, bro, you fucking rule, and your shit rules. And yeah, support TUFF if you like the 80s shit like I do. So yeah, Roxy and TUFF, which is what none of you came for. If you're in the Filth Chamber, you're here for what I'm here for, all right? So have I said suck my balls yet? How about that? How about that? Why are you here bothering me about this shit? I'm in here trying to enjoy my mate, and you're hassling me about this shit. But I mean, since you're here, I'm sure 90% of you are here to hear me rant about the current death metal releases of the year. Let me tell you, there's plenty of those. It's been a banner year. I mean, right now I'm playing the Bisection Collection by TERRORPY in the background, which is some good stuff from earlier in this year. And as you can see, I'm wearing an Upon Stone shirt, which was one of my favorites from this year as well. I think we're all kind of talking about that Skeletal Remains. I know some people didn't dig it, thought it was maybe too clean, thought it was maybe too melodic. Well, you're wrong. It's fucking fantastic. And Dan Swano, come on. Dan Swano fucking showing everyone how to mix a death metal record, and the guys in the band taking it to a level which I was just astounded by the riffs and the solos on this album. So yeah, that's my top of the year. But also there's so much other good stuff. So I'm just going to kind of flit through some things that I loved. I loved the GOSUDAR album, Morbid Despotic Ritual, and this is very dark death metal from Russia, kind of in the Dead Congregation style, very dark and cavernous, and yet brutal and technical in ways. But these guys, GOSUDAR, the thing they have that's different from Dead Congregation is they will take a Dead Congregation style and then go immediately into funeral doom. And I mean, I'm talking funeral doom, like really powerfully, and then immediately go right back into death metal. So that's something that's kind of new and different. HURONIAN, Beyond Frozen Heights, fantastic melodic stuff that is like melodic and brutal, kind of like Intestine Ballism and bands like that. This is something that I really wish I could have shared with Trevor. He would have loved this album, and I love it. I think it's really great. Then we've got Crimson Butchery, Violence by Design, which is a brutal, unrelenting riff machine, says here a certain Patrick Bruss, who left a review there. That fucking asshole. Then we got our pals. Then We Died, which is my friend Steve-O's new project with some other folks, Broken Skull Opera. And this is Steve-O from Impetigo, and he's teaming up with Mike May on bass, Jerry Barksdale on guitar, Chris Leffler on other guitars, Jim Higgins on drums. And it's, I don't know, hard to describe. Steve-O, of course, brings a gore grindy, punkish, kind of raw, underground feel to it, but the music itself is a little more weird and dark, and it's kind of different than most things Steve-O has been a part of. So check that out. And tell him your friend Crypticus sent you. And my other pal, Sly, the Gorno himself, has released something from his band FONDLECORPSE, which is the Temple of Elemental Evil, a little single that he released, which has got that song and then Wraith Rider on kind of a side B here. And this is him actually teaming up with our friend Raja. So, you know, this is, they've done stuff before. And old Crypticus drummer Brynjar on drums here. So this is many of our pals getting together. And then also we had this fucking incredible MATRIPHAGY and Wretched Inferno split, Mass Death, which is fucking really brutal, like the most brutal stuff from both of them, I would say. And also really good in that both sides of the split really match in style and level of brutality in production. So it's very good. Both bands really complementing each other. MATRIPHAGY and Wretched Inferno. Anyways, talking of good splits, that brings me to a certain split that I had something to do with, and it's time for some shameless self-promotion. Speaking of splits, CROPSY Maniac Crypticus split. Get into it. You know where to get it. Comes in a gorgeous jewel case edition from Cavernous Records. Get your copy from them or grab it digitally on Bandcamp or on Ampwall. It's savage. It's brutal. Both bands feature me on vocals, so if you like gross things and you like this stupid show, you'll like that too. Grab one. Why don't you? Do it for me. Do it for America. Thank you. Moving on. Before Whom Evil Trembles by APEP, who are they are on the Egyptian tip, even though I do believe they are from Germany. Yes, they are on the Egyptian tip, like our friends in Nile. And why would it be any weirder for a band from Germany to be doing Egyptian shit than a band from America in the Carolinas doing death metals about Egypt? So this same deal. And these guys, good quality, very good in terms of using the Egyptian style riffery and so forth. Very good. Of course, nothing is going to stack up to our fat boy Carl, who is just the king. I mean, come on. Nobody can stack up to him in terms of the Egyptian riffs and the crazy shit he comes up with. But this stuff is excellent stuff, and I really loved it. APEP. And also they have an earlier one called The Invocation of the Deathless One, which is good as well. Yes. I recommend them both. Well, of course, I got to talk about Violence Inherent in the System and by NOXIS, which I think, I don't know, that the rawness of it and I mean all throughout the rawness of the production and the artwork and the technicality, but still presented through this filter of raw brutality, just really good and really tasteful. And the bass performance just, so good. And it really kind of reminded me of that Separation album from, I think, last year. That was really so good. Had such great bass on it. Was techie and great. It reminds me of that one a little bit, and would be a good follow-up to that. But actually, from this year, just as good. Same kind of technical kind of areas would be The Solace in Absurdity by Brutalism, which kind of has a little bit of a Defeated Sanity flavor, just a little, not really in the same style as them, not jazzy at all, but very very technical, and also very raw, presented in a very raw production, which I felt complemented it, because it's raw, but you can hear everything. You can hear every instrument in the chaos, and I like that. And maybe you'll like it too. Why don't you go listen and find out? Leave me the fuck alone. Okay, just leave me alone. Hooked by Iron Front. Nasty shit, man. I'm talking the nastiest drums. Just really, very much on that hardcore death metal tip, which my friend Nev doesn't like, and I that annoys me, Nev. You should be into that. I don't know why you're not into that, but I understand you want shit to be gross. So do I, but I also love a hardcore riff. You know, like, you can throw all the hardcore riffs you want in death metal, and I'll love it. And Iron Front is kind of really riding the wave between the gross and the hardcore. Really good. They're really erring on the side of gross, as per the front. You can see here the frontage. Put that one up your butt if you get a chance. You won't regret it. No Vaseline. Let's see. That's from. I did enjoy Terrifier 3. I've been a big fan of the series from the beginning. My friends know this, much to their chagrin, some of them, because I from the very first one, I saw it and thought, oh, this is brilliant. I love it. Like, I love this character, love the performance. The infamous Saw scene knocked my dick into the dirt. I was blown away by that and disgusted, and had to rewind it 18,000 times and show it to every one of my friends. Like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. So it was, yeah, it was kind of something I dug. I dug the filth of it. I dug how raw it was. And, you know, a lot of people think it's goes too far. It does. And I also, that was the whole thing with part 2, is that, you know, my man Damien Leone does some pretty amazing practical effects, kind of looking to push the envelope each time. And that's something that's new to, you know, hasn't been around for a long time. And in this era is very refreshing, because, you know, everything these days kind of tends to go for some CG stuff, or for some more tame approaches. He's going full on old school Savini graphic gore. And part 2 had the infamous bedroom scene, as well as some other very, very tremendously brutal death metal levels of gore in some very horrifying murder scenes. So part 3, you know, good. Continuing the tradition. First scene, very scary. I felt the atmosphere of that scene was very terrifying and very enveloping, and showing a really good control of direction in terms of a slasher scene, because it had the atmosphere of like a giallo or something like that, and then it went to, you know, the crazy. Oh, it's a very brutal and scary scene, and basically everyone's worst fucking nightmare. So yes, that I felt was a highlight. Honestly, I felt there was a kind of a step down in some regards in part 3, because I felt a lot of it felt like the gags were shot as inserts. Like in part 2, the whole deal with the bedroom scene was that he had to build these full body appliances and dummies and animatronics and stuff to pull off these gags. And in part 3, it's kind of like he'll just kind of do more of a close-up of a sawing something, or something getting ripped apart, and it's just kind of an insert where it's like, maybe they had to shoot that later, where I would have preferred to see like a full-on, full scene with a gore gag that it evolves. It's hard to explain without spoiling, but I think you'll know what I mean. But I did really like it. I think in part 4, I don't know where he's going to go, because this one has, I mean, beyond the some of the stuff being a little too brief for me, just the ideas in it though are, I mean, the sidekick character is basically, she's basically a deadite, and it's just, you have him teaming up with a deadite the whole movie, so it's horrifying, and I really don't know what they're gonna do with part 4. I don't see where he possibly could go, so I am excited about that. But I do want him to get back to some good full body gore gags and take time to build and do something really, you know, unique for part 4. Because he even said he was very rushed to produce this one, and I don't think they shouldn't rush him. Let this man cook. He's a genius. Let him have like 6 months to design a gore gag, and it'll fucking blow your mind. I've been very much enjoying Secret Level, which is the new anthology from Blur Studios, Tim Miller's company, the folks who are responsible for Love, Death, and Robots, which was a masterpiece. And as if you watched the show, you know I've been forcing everyone I know to watch Love, Death, and Robots, in particular the horror episodes, which are just masterpieces. Well, I guess that's over. Maybe they did 3 seasons of that at Netflix, and I really hope it's not over, but they are now doing this different show called Secret Level, which is very, it's on the same level of quality. Each episode is just based on a different world in the gaming realm. Like they have a Dungeons and Dragons episode, they have a Warhammer episode, so forth. The Warhammer one is the best fucking thing ever made, so yeah, watch it. It's good stuff. There's an episode with Keanu too, and guess who he's playing? He's playing Keanu. Yeah, and guess what? He's good at it. He's good at playing Keanu. I know, it's a huge shocking surprise. I was very, very sad that Evil has apparently been canceled. Maybe we'll come back. Who knows? I love that show. It's kind of a mom show, but I mean, so what? I love dad shows. Like I watch stupid shit like Landman. So, you know, Evil is like the mom version of a horror show. But it's not tame. It's actually pretty scary. Has some pretty freaky shit in it. Has some amazing practical demon effects and stuff. And they get into some weird areas that are kind of like occult accurate, and as well as being, you know, going along with all the religious symbology and everything they're using, they're actually kind of smart about the occult stuff they're talking about, and they are not looking at everything strictly through the Judeo-Christian lens. So it's a cool show. I don't know exactly how many seasons they had. I want to say it was like 4 or 5 altogether. There's a lot of them, and they're all good quality. I kind of would have liked for this show to go on for like 20 years. I would have loved it. It's a good comfort show. And I guess now it's over, but who knows? Maybe someone will pick it up. Either way, check it out if you haven't. If you like cozy horror, momish horror. Listen to me. I want you to remember what old Crypticus does. When the earth quakes, and the poison arrows fall from the sky, and the pillars of heaven shake, I just look that big old storm right in the eye and I say, give me your best shot. And you know, I'm the first person to have ever said that, because I just made that up. Alright, that should be good enough for those pig fucks. See you bastards later. Shit.